Welcome back to Easy English Talk Podcast.
You send a message, you wait, you check your phone, you wait more, and suddenly 3 days pass. You feel ignored, confused, maybe a little hurt. Welcome to Easy English Talk Podcast. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Priya. Happy to be here with you today. This is something almost everyone experiences in modern life. That uncomfortable feeling when your messages seem to disappear into silence.
Today we're discussing why you should stop texting people who don't reply fast. And before you think this is just about being impatient, let me be clear. This conversation will help you understand your own worth, save your energy, and build better relationships.
Because here's what we'll cover. Why slow replies hurt more than you realize, how to recognize when someone is genuinely busy versus when they're showing disinterest, and most importantly, how to break free from this painful waiting cycle.
So if you've ever felt stuck checking your phone wondering why someone hasn't responded, or if you've questioned whether you're being too sensitive about response times, this episode will give you clarity, practical steps, and a healthier mindset.
Let's start with the real problem here. It's not actually about the speed of the reply. It's about what that silence does to your mind and your self-respect.
Exactly. Because when you keep texting someone who takes forever to respond, you're training yourself to accept less than you deserve. You're teaching your brain that waiting and wondering is normal.
And it creates this strange power imbalance in the relationship. The person who cares less, who replies slower, somehow has more control. You end up organizing your emotions around their schedule.
Think about it this way. You wouldn't stand outside someone's house for 3 days waiting for them to open the door, but that's exactly what happens when you keep messaging someone who rarely replies.
That's a perfect comparison, actually. Your time and attention are just as valuable in digital communication. When someone consistently ignores that, they're showing you something important.
Now, I want to be fair here. We're not talking about someone who occasionally takes a few hours to respond. Everyone has busy days, emergencies, or moments when they can't check their phone.
Right. The problem is the pattern. When someone regularly takes days to reply or only responds when they need something, that's when you need to pay attention to what's really happening.
So let's talk about why people actually do this. Why would someone keep you waiting for replies? What's going on in their mind?
Sometimes, honestly, they're just not that interested. It sounds harsh, but it's often the simple truth. If someone wanted to talk to you, they would find time to reply.
We live in a world where people check their phones dozens of times per day. Everyone sees their notifications. So when someone says they didn't see your message for 3 days, that's usually not accurate.
Another reason is that some people enjoy the feeling of being wanted. They like knowing someone is waiting for their response. It makes them feel important or in demand, which is actually pretty unhealthy.
Or sometimes people are genuinely overwhelmed with messages. But here's the thing. Even busy people reply quickly to those they care about. You always make time for what matters to you.
Think about your own behavior. When someone you really like or care about sends you a message, don't you usually find a moment to reply, even if it's just a quick response?
Exactly. Even a simple, "Hey, I'm busy right now, but I'll message you later," takes 5 seconds. The absence of even that small effort tells you something. It tells you where you stand in their priorities.
Now, let's talk about what this does to you, because the psychological impact of constantly waiting for replies is serious. It's not just a minor annoyance.
First, it creates anxiety. You start checking your phone constantly, wondering if they've replied yet. Your focus gets broken throughout the day, which affects your mood and work.
It also damages your self-esteem over time. When you keep reaching out and getting slow or minimal responses, you start questioning yourself, wondering what's wrong with you.
But nothing is wrong with you. The problem is that you're giving your attention to someone who doesn't value it, and that mismatch creates unnecessary pain.
There's also this strange addictive quality to it. The uncertainty of when they'll respond creates a psychological pattern similar to gambling. You keep checking because maybe this time they'll respond. Maybe this time will be different.
That's actually based on something called intermittent reinforcement. When rewards come unpredictably, like a slow reply or finally responding, it creates a stronger habit than consistent behavior would.
Which means you're not weak for feeling stuck in this pattern. Your brain is actually being manipulated by this inconsistent response pattern. It's designed to keep you hooked and hoping.
So let's move into solutions. How do you actually stop texting people who don't reply fast? What are the practical steps you can take today?
The first step is awareness and honesty. Look at your message history with this person. See the pattern clearly without making excuses for them.
Count how long they usually take to respond. Notice if they only reply when they want something from you. Write it down if you need to, because sometimes seeing it on paper makes it real.
The second step is to decide on your boundary. What response time is acceptable to you in different types of relationships? This isn't about being rigid, it's about knowing your standards.
For close friends, maybe you expect a reply within a day. For casual acquaintances, a few days might be fine. But you need to define what works for you, not what you think you should accept.
Once you know your boundary, the third step is the hardest. You have to stop initiating contact with the slow replier. Just stop sending messages and see what happens.
This is tough because you might feel like you're giving up or being cold, but you're not. You're simply matching their energy level. You're stepping back to see if they actually value the connection.
What usually happens is one of two things. Either they don't reach out, which tells you they weren't really invested, or they do reach out, and you can then evaluate if their behavior changes.
If they do contact you after you've stopped initiating, watch carefully to see if they maintain better communication or if they slip back into the same slow reply pattern after a few messages.
The fourth step is to fill that space with better connections. When you stop wasting energy on someone who doesn't reply, you suddenly have more time and emotional space for people who do appreciate you.
Start noticing who in your life responds with enthusiasm, who asks you questions, who seems genuinely happy to hear from you. Those are the people worth your time and attention.
And here's something important to remember. Quality of connection matters more than quantity of contacts. 3 friends who reply with care are better than 10 who leave you on read.
Now, I know some people worry they're being too demanding. They think wanting faster replies makes them needy or clingy. Let me address that concern directly.
Wanting basic communication isn't needy. It's a normal human desire for reciprocal relationships. When you give attention, care, and effort, it's healthy to want that returned.
The key difference is this. Needy behavior is constant texting, demanding immediate responses, getting angry over small delays. Healthy boundaries are recognizing patterns of disinterest and choosing to step back.
You're not asking someone to reply in 5 minutes every single time. You're simply noticing when someone consistently shows they don't prioritize you and choosing not to keep pushing for their attention.
There's actually a lot of dignity in that choice. You're saying, I recognize this isn't working and I'm okay walking away. That's strength, not weakness.
Let's talk about some specific situations people often struggle with. What if the slow replier is someone you really like romantically? This is where emotions make everything harder.
In dating, slow replies are usually a clear signal. If someone is interested, they reply. They want to keep the conversation going because they want to connect with you.
I know people say they might just be playing it cool or they don't want to seem desperate, but in my experience, people who are genuinely interested don't play games for weeks. They might wait a few hours to seem casual, but not days.
And honestly, do you really want to date someone who thinks playing hard to get for days is a good strategy? That shows poor communication skills and emotional immaturity, neither of which make for a good partner.
If someone you're interested in takes forever to reply, pull back. Stop initiating. Stop trying to keep the conversation alive. See if they notice and make an effort.
If they don't, you've saved yourself months or years of confusion and frustration. If they do reach out, you can then decide if their communication improves. But don't accept breadcrumbs just because you like them.
Another difficult situation is when the slow replier is a family member. You can't always just cut them off completely, so what do you do then?
With family, you adjust your expectations. You accept that this person isn't going to be your go-to for quick communication, and you don't put emotional weight on their response time.
If you need to communicate something important with family who reply slowly, use a phone call instead, or save it for when you see them in person. Don't use texting as your primary method with someone who's proven it doesn't work.
The goal isn't to punish them or create drama. It's to protect your own peace by not expecting something they won't give. You can still love them without depending on them for consistent communication.
What about work situations, when a colleague or boss takes forever to reply to your messages? That can actually affect your job performance.
In professional settings, slow replies need to be addressed more directly. You can send a follow-up saying, "I need a response by this date to move forward with the project," or "Let me know the best way to reach you when time is sensitive."
If someone at work consistently ignores messages, document it. Keep records of when you sent information and when responses came. This protects you if deadlines are missed or problems arise.
And escalate if necessary, but professionally. "I've sent 3 messages about this issue. I want to make sure nothing was missed." This puts the responsibility back on them without sounding accusatory.
The work context is different because you can't just stop communicating entirely, but you can protect yourself with clear documentation and direct follow-ups. And you can limit personal sharing with colleagues who don't respond reliably.
Now let's discuss something really important, the difference between someone who's genuinely busy and someone who's not interested, because this confuses a lot of people.
A genuinely busy person will still show interest in other ways. They might take a while to reply, but when they do, the message has substance. They apologize for the delay, they ask about you, they keep the conversation meaningful.
They also often explain why they've been unavailable. "Sorry, work has been crazy this week," or "I've been dealing with a family situation." You feel like they want to connect, but circumstances made it difficult.
Someone who's not interested gives short replies that don't invite further conversation. They answer your question with one word and don't ask anything back. Their messages feel like they're just trying to end the conversation politely.
Look at the effort level in their responses. Are they typing thoughtful replies or just cool and nice? Are they sharing about their life or just minimally responding to your sharing?
Another sign is consistency in other areas. If someone is too busy to text you, but they're constantly posting on social media, or they're texting other people in front of you, then they're not busy, they're just not prioritizing you.
And that's okay. Not everyone has to prioritize you, but you also don't have to keep giving energy to someone who clearly doesn't want it. The healthy response is to accept reality and redirect your attention.
Let's talk about what happens after you stop texting the slow replier, because this is where a lot of people struggle emotionally. You might feel guilty, lonely, or like you made a mistake.
That guilt is normal, especially if you're someone who values connection. You might worry you're being wean or giving up too easily. But remember, you're not abandoning anyone, you're just stopping one-sided effort.
The loneliness can be real too. Even a bad connection can feel better than no connection when you're used to it. This is why filling that space with better relationships is so important.
Give yourself time to adjust. The first week or 2 might feel strange. You'll have urges to check if they've messaged or to reach out yourself.
When that urge comes, do something else immediately. Call a friend who actually responds. Go for a walk. Work on a hobby. Don't sit with your phone and stare at that empty conversation.
After a few weeks, something interesting usually happens. You realize you actually feel lighter. That constant low-level anxiety about when they'll reply is gone.
You might also notice you have more mental energy for other things. Your focus improves, your mood stabilizes. You're no longer giving away your peace to someone who doesn't care about it.
Some people also report that the slow replier eventually reaches out. Sometimes people don't realize how one-sided things were until you stop initiating. How you respond to that is up to you.
If they do reach out, notice how you feel. Are you genuinely happy to hear from them, or do you feel anxious again? Does their message show real effort, or is it just another breadcrumb?
You can respond if you want, but keep your expectations low. One message doesn't mean they've changed their entire communication style. Watch the pattern over time before reinvesting your energy.
Or you can choose not to respond at all. You're not obligated to re-engage just because someone finally decided to text you. Sometimes the healthiest choice is to leave that door closed.
Let's address one more thing that people often struggle with. What if you're the slow replier? What if someone is pulling back from you because of your response time?
First, be honest with yourself about why you're slow to reply. Are you genuinely overwhelmed, or are you not that interested in connecting? Are you struggling with mental health, or are you taking people for granted?
If you genuinely care about someone and you're slow to reply, you need to communicate that directly. Hey, I'm terrible at texting, but I really value our friendship. Can we do phone calls instead?
Or set specific times when you'll check messages and respond. I usually respond to messages in the evening after work. This manages expectations and shows you're making an effort to stay connected.
The key is showing care in some consistent way. If you're slow to text, be reliable in person. If you can't do daily communication, schedule regular calls or meetups.
What doesn't work is being slow to reply and doing nothing else to maintain the relationship. People need to feel valued. And if your communication style makes them feel ignored, you need to find another way to show them they matter.
And if someone pulls back because you're a slow replier, don't get defensive or make excuses. Take responsibility and decide if you want to change your behavior.
Sometimes we don't realize how our actions affect others until they create distance. That moment can be a wake-up call to improve, or a realization that maybe this relationship isn't a priority for you, and that's okay too.
But don't string people along if you're not truly interested in maintaining the connection. It's kinder to let them go than to keep them waiting indefinitely. Give them the freedom to find people who will respond with the enthusiasm they deserve.
Now I want to talk about building your confidence around this issue, because a lot of stopping the texting pattern is about believing you deserve better. And that's not always easy.
Many people struggle with self-worth when it comes to relationships. They think if they just try harder, give more, wait longer, the other person will change. But healthy relationships don't require you to beg for basic respect.
Start by noticing how you feel after interactions with different people. Some people leave you feeling energized, happy, and good about yourself. Others leave you feeling drained, confused, or inadequate.
That feeling is data. It's information about whether a relationship is healthy for you. If someone consistently makes you feel bad, even if they're not doing anything obviously wrong, that's a sign you might need to create distance.
Practice valuing your own time and attention. Before you send a message, ask yourself if this person has shown they appreciate your communication. If the answer's no, consider whether you really need to send it.
This isn't about being cold or withholding. It's about being intentional with your energy. You only have so much to give, and you should give it where it's valued.
Affirmations can actually help here, even though they might sound silly. Telling yourself, I deserve consistent communication, or I don't chase people who run from me. These thoughts can rewire patterns of accepting less than you deserve.
Also, surround yourself with people who model healthy communication. When you have friends who respond reliably and show genuine interest, it becomes easier to recognize and reject poor treatment from others.
Remember that ending or reducing contact with a slow replier isn't failure. It's not giving up. It's making a smart choice about where to invest your limited time. It's choosing yourself, which is always a valid option.
Let's talk about social media's role in all of this, because social media adds a whole extra layer of confusion in slow reply situations. You can see someone is active online, but they're not responding to you.
This is particularly painful because it removes any doubt about whether they've seen your message. You know they're on their phone, you can see they're posting and commenting, but your message sits unanswered.
In these cases, the message is very clear. They're choosing not to reply. It's not that they can't. And that choice tells you exactly how much they value your communication.
Some people will argue, I saw your message, but I wanted to give a proper response later. And then later never comes, or it comes 3 days late. If someone really planned to respond properly, they'd send a quick, I'll reply to this soon.
The solution here is to stop checking their social media activity. If you're going to pull back from texting them, also stop watching their online presence. That's just another form of waiting and wondering.
You might even need to mute or unfollow them temporarily. Not out of anger, but just to protect your own mental space. Constantly seeing their activity while being ignored is torture.
Focus your social media attention on people who actually interact with you, who comment on your posts, who send you messages, who show interest in your life. Those are your people.
We should also discuss the role of different communication platforms. Some people are fast on Instagram but slow on text messages, or quick on email but terrible at phone calls.
If someone genuinely wants to connect but struggles with one platform, they'll tell you and suggest an alternative. I'm not great at texting, but I'd love to talk on the phone sometime.
But if someone is slow everywhere, on every platform, then it's not about the medium, it's about their level of interest. Don't make excuses for them or keep trying different apps hoping one will work.
The core issue is always the same: effort and interest. People make time for what matters to them. They find ways to communicate with those they care about.
If someone wants you in their life, you'll know. You won't be confused, wondering if they like you, waiting days for replies. You'll feel secure because their actions match their words.
As we start to wrap this up, I want to emphasize one key point. This entire conversation is about respecting yourself enough to require mutual effort. It's not about being perfect or expecting perfection from others.
Everyone has moments when they're bad at replying. Everyone gets busy, overwhelmed, or distracted sometimes. The difference is between occasional lapses and consistent patterns.
If someone is usually responsive but has a bad week, that's understandable. If someone is almost never responsive except when they need something, that's a problem. Learn to tell the difference.
And remember that different relationships have different needs. A casual friend doesn't need to reply as quickly as a romantic partner. A colleague has different communication expectations than a close family member.
The standard isn't one size fits all, but within each type of relationship, you deserve consistency and respect. You deserve to feel like the other person is glad to hear from you.
When you stop texting people who don't reply fast, you're making room for better connections. You're teaching others how you expect to be treated, and you're showing yourself that you have standards worth maintaining.
This change won't happen overnight. You might slip back into old patterns, reach out to slow repliers, feel guilty about setting boundaries. That's all normal and part of the process.
Be patient with yourself as you learn this new behavior. Each time you choose not to send that message to someone who doesn't value your communication, you're building stronger self-respect and healthier relationship habits.
And you might be surprised by what happens. Many people find that once they stop chasing slow repliers, new friendships develop with people who actually want to connect.
Or old friendships deepen because you're investing more energy there. The relationships that were always good become even better because you're no longer splitting your attention with people who don't deserve it.
Your mental health will likely improve too. Less anxiety, less checking your phone, less wondering what you did wrong. More peace, more confidence, more time for things that actually fulfill you.
So here's your action plan if you're ready to make this change. First, identify the people in your life who consistently take days to reply. Be honest about the pattern. Don't make excuses for them.
Second, decide today that you're going to stop initiating contact with those people. You're not announcing it, not making drama, just quietly pulling back. Let them reach out if they want to maintain the connection.
Third, redirect that energy toward people who respond with care and enthusiasm. Strengthen those relationships. Appreciate those people. Show them the same respect and attention they show you.
Fourth, work on your own self-worth around this issue. Remind yourself daily that you deserve reciprocal relationships, that wanting basic communication isn't needy, it's healthy.
And finally, be patient with the process. Changing relationship patterns takes time. You'll have moments of doubt, loneliness, or temptation to go back to old habits.
But stick with it, because on the other side is freedom. Freedom from anxiety, from waiting, from feeling like you're not enough. Freedom to build relationships based on mutual respect and genuine connection.
We want to thank you so much for listening to this episode. This topic affects so many people, and we hope this conversation gave you clarity and confidence. Remember, you're not asking for too much when you want someone to value your communication.
If this episode resonated with you, we have many other topics that might help. We discuss building confidence, setting boundaries, and creating the life you actually want, all with the same simple, clear, thoughtful approach.
Take care of yourself, respect your own time and energy, and remember that the right people will never leave you wondering where you stand. They'll show up, they'll reply, and they'll make you feel valued.
Thanks for spending this time with us today. We'll see you in the next episode of Easy English Talk. Until then, choose yourself and build relationships that choose you back.